And you know what I told him? Because, he just came at me wrong, bro. And I was just like, I could smell him before I seen him. And you ever had somebody who had like a presence? I don't mean like a demonic presence, but like you could tell there was some sort of like deep inherent mental illness going on. Like not like the tism, because I think the tism is generally pretty pleasant. Like I never get bad vibes from my tismic brothers and sisters, but like there was something a little goofier going on. Like maybe he was a toddler toucherino, you know what I'm saying? And then I just realized, oh, he's got an MGK shirt on. And that's all it was. It turns out he wasn't. Oh, hey, how's it going, everybody? We're live. How's everybody doing today? We're going to be talking about some serious stuff because as we have sort of evolved into this situation with Aron. You know what? I say Iran. And it's not like that I don't know how to say it correctly. It's like a sign of disrespect, not to the people, to their government, because their government is absolutely terrible. And so it's kind of brought up again this idea of how many possible sleeper cells we have in this country. And so I wanted to talk about this. And I'm going to admit this straight up. I made a short earlier and I released it. And then I started reading some of the comments, and a lot of the comments, I didn't vibe with all the comments. Some of the comments, I thought people were being kind of a little bit, whatever. They have their own views and opinions and everything. And I respect when people disagree with me respectfully, but when people are disagreeing with me disrespectfully, it makes me want to like start, karate chop. I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when I was a kid, bro. I'll get down. I know at least 3 fight moves. I'll beat you up and then hump your dad. You won't like it. Anyway, so it kind of made me think, and it made me want to do some research, and I want to do that research with you guys. I want to maybe educate myself, but really what like I'm most concerned about, because my opinion on Iran and as well as Israel, let me make this clear. I feel terrible for the people that are caught in the crosshairs, innocent people, just like here in the US. We don't all agree with our government and what our government be up to all the time. You know what I'm saying? Vast majority of the time, there's a lot of people in this country who don't agree with what our government is doing. So I feel like it's always the people like us that are caught in the crosshairs of the fuckery of rich and elite people that have been put in positions where they can have horrible and devastating effects on the innocents. But when it really comes down to it, I feel for the people, but my concern is with the American people and like our close allies, like the UK. You know what I'm saying? And the people that border us, like the UK. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that Mexico, the UK, the British piss me off. What their government is doing to you people in the UK makes me sad as hell. But like, really, when it comes down to it, like I'm very America centric, and I know that that's a little bit greedy, but and maybe selfish, and maybe just makes me a horrible person. But like I see how fucked up it is over here, and I want us to focus our efforts and our resources here. And I understand when other countries do that for their own people. I mean, I don't see them doing it, but I would understand if they actually were. But part of what I want to talk about here is the sleeper cells. I had made the assessment that, we do have credible information and knowledge that Iran is very close to having nuclear capabilities. Now, Tulsi Gabbard came out and she said that that's not true. And then there's other more recent information saying that it is true. So we'll look at that too. But I wanted to look at this whole situation. But a lot of this is going to be about how there is credible information that we have sleeper cells here. And you would have to be naive not to think that. I think truly that you have to have your head in the sand or maybe up Oprah Winfrey's butthole to not believe that we have sleeper cells here. People that are terrorists that are just waiting for their moment to strike. A lot like what happened with y'all. Anybody remember 9/11? I remember 9/11 because I'm older than dog shit, bro. And I think that we'd be really crazy not to consider the fact that we have more people in the wings waiting to do horrific attacks on our citizens. And I ain't like that. I don't like it at all. Pierce said, my sister's high school graduation is tomorrow. Tell her congratulations from all of us. Victor said, hey, JD, I got a major work schedule change, so I'm going to be lurking. Be good or be good at it. Yo, we love that you're here lurking with us. And also, side note, are you enjoying Israel's mostly peaceful protests in Iran? Look, man, here's my thing is that I think that Iran is a bigger threat to us than Israel is. And whoever is a bigger threat to us, I'm not going to like those people too much. Not the people, but the government. Iran has a lot of people over there who have been protesting this government and what they've been doing, horrific shit. Like they just be killing women for showing ankles or hair or being heard speaking in public. And like, I don't fuck with none of that, bro. Like that Sharia law shit. Like if that's your belief system, I all the way don't fuck with you. If you're going to hurt women and oppress women like that, I don't have time for you. And I don't think there's enough space or oxygen for a motherfucker like that, dog. I'm not cool with that shit at all. I love women. I have a mother. Me and Jax, we have a daughter. I have a sister. I have a niece. Some of my best friends throughout my entire life have been women. The people who kept it like straight up solid for me while I was in prison. I got one letter from a dude that wasn't my dad the entire time I was in prison. The rest was my friends that were females. And I ain't never did nothing with none of them. They were just friends and they were loyal and they held it the fuck down. And I have a wife who is like my bestest friend in the whole entire world who happens to be here today. Jax, will you say hello to the people?
Hello and welcome.
So I don't got shit for the way that they've been treating the women over in their country. I think it's super fucked up. Plus, you know, I'm just waiting for a bunch of protesters to come out and be, queer and trans for Iran, even though this is another one of those situations where they will chuck your ass off a building for existing, for being you. You know what I'm saying? Like they do gravity tests with people like that over there, but they're so oppressed over here. They're so oppressed over here, but they want to fly flags from other countries where they would literally fucking kill you just for being who you are. And I don't fucks with none of that. So I feel bad for those people, but their government, I don't think we should go in and force a regime change. I've seen what that brings, and we do not need to be involved on that level. Fuck that. Yo, hold on. Stop everything. Dark Madness. Homie, I love you. Thank you so much, Dark Madness. I appreciate that. That's huge. Brother, as an individual in Syria, seeing the Iran versus Israel shit firsthand, they definitely have the capability to make nuclear warhead. The issue is getting it over to the U.S. and our ability to intercept the missile through this question, though this question is best left to an air defense soldier airman. Dark Madness, thank you so much for weighing in. I love you. I appreciate you. Dude, is that a corgi? Is that a corgi in your profile picture? So we talk a lot about Zero and Moxie over here because those are specifically the dogs that live in our home. But when I left for Florida, I had two dogs. And I went to get an apartment settled because when I landed there, I had $200 in a backpack to my name. And I was sleeping on somebody's couch. And as soon I had an apartment within 10 days, and I told my mom, hey, I'm sending you money. Please ship the dogs. And when she went to ship the dogs, she asked me, will you leave the corgi with me? I'm in love with the corgi. The corgi is like my best friend. And so I left the corgi with her. But I got that corgi when it was literally the day it turned 8 weeks. Her name is Squee, and I love corgis, and I love you, Doc. Thank you so much. Plasma Owl, you the bomb. No, you the bomb. In America, compliment. In the Middle East, an argument. Yeah, somebody's trying to get and what the fuck is with the virgins, bro? Can somebody explain to me the idea of getting, how many is it? Is it 72 virgins? Is it 76 virgins? How many virgins? If you die killing innocent people, you get lots of virgins. That's weird to me, bro. Sounds like pedophilia. Victor said air defense. Oh, shit. Subway, call HIC. So, look, I want to get into this real quick. I I think 72. So I had it right. 72 virgins. Yeah, 72 Reddit moderators. Oh, I love this community. Y'all kill me, dog. Y'all are lit. Holy fuck. I don't know about y'all. I am not like a Reddit person. There's a lot. I just see a lot of vitriol over there. It's kind of crazy, man. The fuck you know about the sleeper cells? Well, I think that was 72 goats. Let's hear it from somebody, man. I was gonna start with this other one, but let's hear this other one first, man. Let's get with this, because I think, has anybody here ever heard of Sarah Adams? Because Sarah Adams, to me, is probably one of the more credible people that I have heard on this subject. So let's grab that one. Where is that one? Yeah, we're gonna check this out. And I think that you guys will be really interested. Before we jump into that, I just want to address, we got Robin Hance said, 23 months clean today. Hell yeah. Working in healthcare, sharing experience and strength and hope on the reservation. You are someone I look up to. Much love. You are a hero, my friend. You are an absolute hero. I am so proud of you. Hell yeah. Unconcerned gamer. I'm glad I could make it to another stream. I agree with your regime change option. We really need to stop being the world's police. Fuck, man. Fuck, for real, bro. Can we just stop with that shit? It has never worked out good for us or anybody else for us to try to play that world police shit, man. I don't want to see a single set of boots on the motherfucking ground. I don't. If we have credible intelligence saying that they have an underground facility that's making warheads, and that's all that I said in my short that people got so booty hurt about. Like, people got significantly butthurt. I never said that I trust any other government. I got accused. Today was the first day of my life I've been accused of being an agent for Israel. I got accused of being a shill in a plant. All I said is that Iran can't have motherfucking nukes, dog. They can't have nukes. And everybody's like, oh, well, Israel can have nukes, but Iran can't. Yes, facts. Israel is one of our allies. Whether I trust them or not, they are one of our fucking allies. I don't think they're going to try to blow us the fuck up. So if we have credible intelligence and we have the bomb, the MOP, the only bomb in the face of the planet that can actually penetrate deep enough to blow up that facility, they know where it is. They know how deep it is. They've done the logistics and they've already sent the bombers all equipped over there. They've been headed there. It's a 30-hour trip. All that has to happen is for Trump to say, run up, bro, get it. And it's going to happen. And all I said is I support doing that, but I don't support putting boots on the ground. I don't support getting super invested in controlling what happens with the regime. Do I like the regime there right now? Absolutely the fuck not. Do I think we need to finger diddle the whole get down? No. My dad ended up in Kuwait and it messed him up. Bro, I'm telling you, I don't want to see a single American citizen with boots on the ground there. I'm so with you on that. Reasonable assumption. Love you, homie. Thank you so much. That's big. I appreciate it. 72 virgin goats. Bad. Oh, my Lord, bro. I love you guys. People are saying miniature goats. Victor said, okay, going nap time now. Love you, Victor. Appreciate you. Rob Doherty said, gave you big props on my podcast as that's coming out Friday. I appreciate you, big dog. Big love and respect to you, man. I'm going to check that out. Dominar said, I'd rather have 72 sluts. Don't have time for trading. I fucking love you, dog. I love you. What religion gives you 72 sluts if you follow the rules? Jax, can we make a religion that gives people 72 sluts? I'm getting like weird-eyed right now, bro. Twitch, because fuck you. Hey, JD, I just got the final confirmation from Amazon. Your tomahawk will be there this Saturday. Thank you so much, my dude. I appreciate you. Have gone so far above and beyond to make that happen. Thank you so much, brother. Huge love and respect to you. So we are going to be checking out, this is Sarah Adams, you guys. And I'm sure that some of you know who Sarah Adams is. Maybe there's a few of you who don't, but trust me when I say I believe her to be a very credible source of information. Thank you, Scott Johnson. Big love.
But the Biden border, it wasn't just open to migrants from Latin America. Our guest believes that thousands of highly trained terrorists snuck in as well. So Sarah Adams is a former CIA targeter and author of Benghazi, Know Thy Enemy. So Sarah, thanks so much for joining our show. So we look at this mainstream media narrative that's out there, and they were saying, oh, the riots, they were kicking off due to all of the ICE deportations, right? Karen Bass even went on CNN earlier today and said as much. So do you think that there are other factors at play here, or should we just kind of believe the Karen Basses of the world?
No, I mean, there's multiple things taking advantage of these protests. Obviously, there's just the paid kind of far left elements who fund these, but also terrorists have taken advantage of a lot of the protests starting after the attacks in Israel in October 2023. Being a part of the propaganda, embedding themselves within the actual protesters, and then running different campaigns. They've done some for pro-Hamas. They've done some around Afia Siddiqui. She's Lady Al-Qaeda who's detained in the United States. And then they even did some around, I don't know if you remember in St. Louis, there's a gentleman on death row. And last fall, the Al-Qaeda got involved in that to make more relationships with the Black Lives Matter movement. So all these movements have some sort of relationship and they're coming together. And really the propaganda is bring down, the evil colonial empire, which is the United States.
Now, I don't know if you guys remember, she has been talking about this for a while. This is not new news coming from Sarah Adams when it comes to talking about that there are sleeper cells, that there is an imminent threat. Sarah Adams has been talking about this for like well over a year. I remember just not too long ago, Sarah Adams came out with an interview on the Sean Ryan podcast. It is impeccable. If you guys haven't checked that out, if you're interested in this type of thing, she is absolutely somebody that you should check out. And that interview between her and Sean Ryan is absolutely fire. But she's been saying for the longest that having these open borders, they have been able to identify that there have been numerous sleeper cells that have popped up around the country. They have gotten some of them, others they haven't got. So, you know what I'm saying? Real quick, let me address this because somebody's going to be mad. I don't see where the comment was. Somebody said, silence, do good. I sent you emails. I don't know what email you sent to me. I don't have a public email. And if it was sent to the Convict Clothing email, I'm no longer associated with them. I'm actually doing something else, and there will be a big announcement on that, but I never had the customer service email. I've actually had a lot of people pissed off at me because I didn't answer their emails. I don't have a public email because my DMs, my comment sections on every platform are so blown up. There's no way that I'd be able to answer everybody. And it tends to offend people. People get mad when you don't answer them. And what they don't realize is when you have millions and millions of followers, you literally don't have enough hours in the day. Like I have my notifications for my DMs on things like TikTok and Instagram turned off. And I have to specifically go in and look because I get thousands a day. There's no way humanly I could answer them. The Incredible Aspire, on a lighter note, remember the movie Soul Plane? I heard it was the most bootlegged movie ever. Really? That's awesome information. Proud to be American. Hey, JD, I'm a young adult from NorCal, Sac area, and I wanted to say thank you. Even if it isn't much, continue standing up for the American people. Hey, thank you. And you just being here and you just being you is more than enough. We love having you in our community. Big love and respect to you. The Yeet Master lives. I love that name. The Yeet Master lives. Rest in peace to us due to World War III. Well, but sending love to everyone involved and to you and your family, JD, and everyone in the chat. No fear, the Yeet is here. I feel safer immediately now that Yeet is here, you guys. And I love Yeet. I live near a major, Red Panda Gamer. I live near a military base in Virginia, Fort Pickett. I've been seeing a lot of military personnel come by my work, more than usual. And I've seen a lot of videos of people, that are active military that have been getting that famous meal, the steak and lobster meal. And anybody who's been in the military when they're about to deploy will be able to tell you what getting that steak and lobster meal means, right, you guys? Can anybody in the chat know what it means when they start feeding you steak and lobster on a fucking Tuesday? It means you're shipping out somewhere. It means you're getting deployed. And I don't want to see boots on the ground in combat anywhere. I don't want to see it, man. We do not need to see that shit. That shit's too much. TBJ Reptiles, I believe what she says. Any sleeper cells, they are here to destroy us from the inside. Country could take us on, but we could destroy ourselves from the inside. My brother, love the content. And that's why I wanted to talk about sleeper cells today, because TBJ, you're 100% correct. And an outside full frontal assault would be insanity, and it would be sewer slide. YouTube really hates that word, by the way. They really hate that word. But it would absolutely be the end of them if they hit us with a full-on frontal attack. Nobody's crazy enough to do that, but to send people in and activate them when the time is ready, that's what concerns me as far as attacks upon America. Now, we also have bases that Iran could attack that are in that area where we have troops that are stationed. And I don't want to see a single drop of blood shed from any of our people in those bases either. HLC is fat. Sean Ryan. Hey, JD Jax, you guys are amazing. Love you, Tim. We appreciate you. Yo, crazy white boy. What's up, man? Thank you so much. Huge love and respect to you, my guy. Hell yeah, that means a lot. What's going on, JD? Been a minute since I've been on. Just want to tell you to keep doing what you're doing. Much love and respect. And all OG, God bless. God bless you too, brother. And thank you so much for that support. Thank you so much for being here. It's great to see you, and we love you. Yo, CS Ray, it's been a minute. Good to have you here with us. Steak and lobster means the shit is about to get real. Yeah, and I've been seeing, it's not just me hearing this from people, but I've literally been seeing videos of people, active duty people, eating their shit. And it scares me for our people. You know what I'm saying? Upthra, thank you so much. Thank you so much, my G. Big love to you. JD is a military brat who has kids I went to high school with, come home under a flag. They would all just want peace for us and would want to hear an amazing, familiar roar of a certain chipper. Big love from Canada. Number 72 wood chippers. Love you, Upthra. And I agree with you 1,000%. I can tell you my dad's a veteran. He saw heavy combat. He asked me not to join. I wanted to join. I tried at one point, but I was already a felon. But he just wants fucking peace, man. He doesn't even want to talk about the shit that he went through over there. Roman Wolf Gaming. We need an alien invasion for the world to come together. They've announced like 8 times that we have aliens here when they didn't want us to pay attention to what they were doing, and nobody gave a fuck any of the times, bro. They were like, oh yeah, by the way, we have aliens, and everybody's like, yeah, well, Epstein list, bitch. Where's the Epstein list, you janky motherfuckers? You ain't gonna get us. Dark Madness, love you again, bro. Thank you so much. Steak and lobster, oh yeah, they're cooked. That's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm seeing. Like, seeing with my eyes, dude. Like, this one girl, I felt so bad for her. She had just joined, right? And she's like, shit, they feeding us steak and lobster. I could get used to this. It's just a random Tuesday. What's up? And I'm like, baby girl, no, that is not good. That is not, they're not just going to feed you that every Tuesday, honey. That's a bad deal. I'm so sorry. And then I went to the comment section and everybody was like, oh, baby. Oh, we're so sorry. That's not, no, honey, that's not good. Smoke said, JD, the main issue with sleepers is you can look left and look right and not see them. Exactly. Victor said, Ian W, be careful, Marine, especially if you're on notice. Yeah, I didn't see the comment that you're talking to, but yeah, anybody who's out there who's going out, man, we love you. Our prayers are with you. Please be safe. Keep it frosty at all times. Gentlemen, gentlemen, greetings from New Zealand. Wish I could do more to help from the ass end of the earth. Like with the unsub crew, I drink every time you say community. Well, community to you, my brother. Love you, man. Thank you so much for being a part of our community. We're glad to have you here. CS Ray, right? Been busy painting a family pic for my youngest. I've been lurking, just not typing. Well, we're just glad to see you. And that's beautiful that you're painting. I'm so glad you're doing that, homie. Backwoods Templar said, I believe World War III will be fought with germs and computers. And look, that makes a whole shitload of sense. You know what I'm saying? 100%. Gray Wolf, been following for about 2 years. Thank you so much. I push your content to everyone I know. First time catching a live. Love everything you do. Thank you. I'm so glad that you came to a live. I thank you for being a part of this community. There's another one for you, community. But yeah, the lives are my absolute favorite thing because I love getting to know you guys and being able to chat candidly with you. That's why I'm on here so much. I love hanging out with you guys. You guys are my people. You guys are my social circle. Victor said, FYI, Ian was in chat and said they was USMC and just got issued MRE. We're praying for you. We're praying for you all. Irish Bomb Squad, good to see you, homie. Steak and lobster in prison, we all throw in on a spread before a trip to the hole. And that's big facts, man. One of the homies is going to the hole. We know they're scheduled to put in work. We're all giving them a big final meal before they go. Sphinx said a few things. 1, this is training season for reserves. Expect more about. 2, expect more movements with deployments. 3, verified south border had Chinese and other come in. AC reported it. Also Discord. Absolutely. And I remember watching videos of people getting interviewed as they came across the border, and a lot of them were war age, military age men from all over the globe. We really don't have, we didn't track any of what was coming across the border. And that's part of why we're doing removals so aggressively right now. But the same people that didn't want us to have a border that functioned don't want us removing anybody. And it's sus to me, bro. I'm sorry, but it's sus to me. Araya Stark, JD, you're needed on this earth. Thank you so much, sis. I love you. Like, dislike. What happened to the drones? Nobody talks about them anymore. I'm saying we stopped caring. Honestly, I think that had a lot to do with Palantir, but I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist and I don't trust Palantir at all. Roman Wolf Gaming. I feel like there should be a deal. If you join the military, you can have your felony wiped. Good felonies only, I mean, or like 5 years of good behavior. I 1000% agree with that. It used to be in this country that they used to, like, if you would get in trouble, they would give you the option to join the military or take the felony and do some time. And we don't do that anymore. I think that sucks. I thought that was a great method. Martinez, cool girl. Thank you so much, fam. Love you. Dominar said, I think we need to make a big ass bowl in the Middle East. So a lot of the comments that I got were people saying, turn it to glass, bro. I don't want to see all those innocents die. I care about the people. I just think we need to focus on ourselves, do our own thing, and not be world police for a while. Mugen said, you should react to Tucker Carlson's interview with Ted Cruz. It gets spicy, bro. I've been watching clips of that all day, and I loved how aggressive Tucker was getting. It seemed like a real discourse instead of just like glazing. Like most of the time when you see interviews with our politicians, it's just glazing. Tucker got on his ass, bro. He had some real questions. Anthony Martinez, yo, huge love. Hell yeah, brother. Thank you so much. That means a lot. I appreciate that support. Came in late as fuck. What's good, JD? Hope all is well. Also, congrats on being a free man now. Thank you so much, my guy. You know, I realized, at first I realized, you know, it's been since 2019 when I got busted since I've been free. And then I really thought about it and I was like, I wasn't free when I was in my addiction either. Being in my addiction, Jax had to point it out to me. Being in my addiction was a cell and a hell of its own. So let's take that back, 20 plus years since I had been free the way that I am now. And then when I really thought about it, it really took me to the point where I was 6 years old and a grown adult took my childhood away from me. And that's when I really feel like I became imprisoned. That's when the trauma took over my life. That's when I stopped being free and me. So this is the first time since I've been 6 years old that I've really felt freedom, and it just like the weight has been completely taken off my shoulders. I love you, Anthony. Thank you. Plasma Owl said, it's ironic that our international enemies have often have deserters come to live here, live here because the quality of life is better than their country. China, their flipping president said his daughter here. I did not even know that. That's crazy that China sent, the president of China sent his own daughter here. Aided Clock. Hey, JD, have you seen the Elias latest video with Gary? He's also a YouTuber that talks about sobriety and comic book entertainment. I haven't seen that. I don't know who they are. I'm going to have to look them up. Thank you so much for putting me on new stuff. J-Dub, what's up, family? Anybody who's been to war doesn't want to go back. I saw what war does firsthand in Iraq and Afghanistan. I never wanted my sons to fight in a war after I did. First off, thank you for your service and your sacrifice. We love you. And thank you for coming here and reiterating that, because it is so important coming from voices like yours. I have an interview with a dude who lost both his legs and one of his arms, and the other arm was chunked out and put back together with plates. That's going to be coming out soon. His name is McNubbs. He goes by McNubbs now because he's got 3 nubs. And he's the most positive outlook on life, kind and loving individual. And I'm so excited to bring it to you. I love our veterans. I love our active duty. Thank each and every one of you. And I hope that we don't ever have to go into combat like that ever again. Reasonable Assumption. Thank you again, homie. Huge love. Sleeper cells look like your neighbors, and you will not even know they are there. Muhammad Atta was in Montreal, Quebec the year before and had the nickname Paco and was a total pushover. A year later, he flew a plane into a building. And that is absolute facts. And that's why I felt really passionate about talking about sleeper cells today. And thank you so much for that support. I love you, homeboy. So we are going to get into, we have this thing going on with Sarah Adams. Let's hear a little bit more from her before we move on, you guys. Because Sarah Adams is a wildly intelligent, educated, and plugged in person.
Sarah, I just was really impressed the last few days with, seeing our old friend again, the actual professional agitators pulling, mini color revolution once again. And, I don't think you even need to be a trained professional to see this. If you've watched a lot of the 2020 riots and you're just a regular person, and then you watch what we've seen the last few days, you see professional, agitators. So, I mean, I didn't know that we'd see it again, right? It did sort of disappeared for a while, at least at this scale. So do you think that this is going to increase, or, has this run its course?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to increase, not just the professional agitators. Remember, they make money off of it. Some of these people, this is their full-time job, right? But also, there are bigger plans for the United States, right? There are big terrorist attacks coming up, and a piece of it is to bring the public in to protest and boycott the government and to actually back the terrorists and to say, yeah, we deserve this. It's like, I don't know if you saw when the letter to America that Osama bin Laden had put up.
They're radicalizing our own people. There are sleeper cells here, I believe, is what she's saying, and it makes perfect sense. And you see how effective they're being at it, at radicalizing our own people, not just against our government. Because, motherfucker, I don't trust our government. I've never, raise your hand in the class if you trust our government. There are things that I trust more than our government, like Detroit tap water, gas station sushi. There's a whole list of fart after 40. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just going to say, they are radicalizing our own people against each other is the saddest fucking thing to watch. You see these acts of violence in the streets, and I guarantee you there are people who are here for that purpose, to radicalize the people against not only our government, but against each other. Sam, by the way, said, I want to go in and infiltrate, but they won't hire me because I'm over 40. Felt that, my guy. Felt that.
Many years ago, like last year, it went viral. It went viral, right? Because they have an audience now who are easy to manipulate. And a lot of that is to do with TikTok and things like that. But it's something we should be very concerned about because the terrorists are being very proactive about it.
Yeah, let's dive into that a little bit more, because you do think an actual terrorist attack is on the horizon. And I know that you wrote an open letter to the U.S. intelligence community. So what should we be looking for as citizens here? What should we be trying to focus on? Because, again, we know that there's so much information and disinformation out there. Just tell the American people what we can actually do about this.
Yeah, I want the American people to know this is kind of their job now, because what I put in the letter is the US government right now has the wrong leader of Al Qaeda and the wrong leader of ISIS. Think about that for a minute. So we can't trust them to thwart this when they don't even know who's running these groups. So what we like to tell the public is, it's really that, I know it's lame, but see something, say something, right? All these terrorists do dry runs, they do surveillance. If something is off, report it, right? It might be off, and then prepare, right? Get first aid training.
So I think what she said is really important, even though it sounds corny, right? It sounds cliche, but we have cliches in our society because they came from somewhere, and there's some truth in all of the cliches. Stereotypes too, if we're honest about it. We're not supposed to say it, but see something, say something. There have been multiple terrorist attacks that were thwarted because people saw suspicious shit. There's also been citizens that were completely innocent that ended up getting fucked up by the police because nosy Karens called and said somebody was suspicious. Like, don't call because you see somebody that looks too tan for your liking and have the police come. But if you see somebody doing some truly suspicious shit, man, say something and be prepared. It takes men that are willing to fight and women that are capable and willing to fight when shit like this goes down. Imagine if the people on those two planes were like, fuck a box cutter, homie, I'm going in. And they took those dudes down. I'm not trying to victim shame the people on those planes, but if it was me, I'm sorry, dog. You're not subduing my ass and flying me into a building because you have a fucking box cutter, homie. I'm from prison, dog. I'm going to fuck you up, period. End of sentence. Dominar said, all veterans and active duty members give a shout out to us, Navy. Huge love and respect to all veterans and all active duty, man. And the Navy, too. Doc Madness, I trust a wet fart more than the government, and I'm a government employee. My guy, your opinion is the most valid. Your opinion is the most valid because you're on the inside. Kyle said, last name pronounced Kuntz. That's easy to remember because he was one of my favorite authors when I was in prison. You could always find a Dean Kuntz book laying around, and they were always interesting, if nothing else. You should definitely do a collab with Brian Head Welsh from Korn. He's a recovered addict that came to Christ. Seems like an awesome guy. I love Head, bro. I love Head. Fuck, that sounded so sus. I love Brian Welsh, and his story's really inspiring. He struggled with meth like me and came out the other end. And I was the biggest fucking Korn fan until I met those dudes. But I think they were all in a bad place when I met them, and I don't judge them by that one meeting. I would love to work with Brian. Rambo Donkey. I love that fucking name, by the way. It's all shadow games, and we, the people, are the pawns. And we're the ones who become collateral damage, homie. We're the ones who become the collateral damage. Victor said the fourth plane fought and rumored a fifth. Yeah, and I just saw some shit on that. I need to look more into that. I'm not educated enough to speak on it yet, but I agree. So do you guys agree? 80 Deuce, I love Head. Now people are saying it in the chat because I said some sus shit again. Totally unintentional. Is there anybody in this chat who thinks that it's unreasonable to assume that we have people who took advantage of the border situation that have bad intentions for our country? I think that's a no-brainer. I think that's an absolute no-brainer that that's a reality. Now, one thing that I want to address, because I had a lot of people going after me on my short that I made that a lot of people disagreed with, and it's fine to disagree with me. Who the fuck am I, bro? I'm a dude with an iPhone and a computer. I've been to prison. That doesn't make me smarter than anybody else or more educated than anybody else or more informed than anybody else. Sometimes I have bad takes. Sometimes other people have bad takes. But let's talk about this whole situation with Tulsi Gabbard and how she said that it's misinformation that we have that Iran doesn't have nukes. Let's see what has been going on about that, because this is kind of what I've been going on.
We have some new CNN reporting on Iran's ability to develop a nuclear weapon. Israel has suggested that it had to act fast because Tehran was quickly approaching a point of no return in its nuclear weapons program. But sources tell CNN that U.S. intelligence assessments concluded something very different. That Iran was not actively pursuing a nuclear weapon and was at least 3 years away. And this morning, the president is weighing in on this. So let's go live now to CNN White House reporter Elena Treen. Elena, walk us through this new back and forth on Iran's nuclear capabilities.
Yeah, well, there seems to be some daylight, Pamela, between what the U.S. intelligence community is saying regarding how far off Iran is from developing a usable nuclear weapon and what Israel is saying really to justify some of the attacks that we've seen them make toward Iran. Now, the president was pressed about this when he was flying back from Canada this morning back to Washington. And he was asked specifically about what his own director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, testified to in March, which is essentially that they were still far off from creating a viable nuclear weapon. Take a listen to what he told reporters.
How close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having it.
So Tulsi Gabbard is saying back in March that they're nowhere near having nuclear capabilities. But President Trump just said, I don't care what she said. We have information that they are very close. Now, I don't want to fight any more of Israel's wars. I don't want to fight anybody else's wars. I don't want to lose a single drop of American blood for another fucking war that we should stay out of. What I said in my short that a lot of people got pissed off about was I advocated for exactly, Sam, by the way, using the bunker busters. There's one bomb that we have, and we're the only country on the face of the planet that has it. They have identified the underground lab where they're saying that they're doing this, and they have credible intel that they're doing this. According to, it depends on who you believe. If you believe Tulsi Gabbard, then, okay, Iran has great intentions. And I fuck with Tulsi, dog. Like, I like Tulsi Gabbard. I think that she's cool as fuck. But it makes sense to me just on a logical level that Iran is trying to gain access to nuclear weapons. They would want that. It would put them in a different bracket as a nation, right? So if you believe Tulsi, then okay, cool. They're chilling, right? If you believe President Trump, then he's saying, no, fuck that. They're close and we got to do something about it. Now, we could literally go, Russia has bunker busters, but not the type that we have. We have the MOP, and the MOP is what's needed to be able to get at that shit because it's so deep. So to be able to get it, we could fly over, drop them shits, and not have to put one boot on the ground. Now, like I see some people saying Trump is bought and paid for by Israel. And I think that it's fair to assume that Israel has a lot of influence on a lot of our politicians. We've seen it with AIPAC. If you go and watch the Ted Cruz interview with Tucker Carlson, you'll see that there's a lot of glazing going on with Ted Cruz. So I understand why people would feel that way, but I don't see what the harm is in making sure that they don't get nukes and not putting our feet on the ground. That was my opinion. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people got mad at me. I got accused of being an agent for Israel. Bro, nah, that's fucking crazy. So, but like, okay, so Dark Knight is saying Biden was China's bitch. Also, there have been a lot of accusations about Trump that he was bought and sold by Russia and Israel. So do we think that everybody's bought Trump? Like, what is our actual allegation here? I don't know. I haven't seen any finances to prove any of that shit. I think it's all just theories at this point. What do you guys think? Doc Madness said, oh, most definitely I'd be surprised if there wasn't people in our nation with hostile intent. And while they don't have them, they very easily should they want. So look, I think that it's 1000% confirmed just from seeing what people are saying on social media. Every week they're arresting another person for coming out and threatening to kill the president. Every week we're seeing that, senators on both sides, congressmen on both sides, there's always some politician getting threats against their life. So we know there's people in our country with hostile intent towards our government, which in certain respects, not liking our government, not trusting our government, fair, I get that. Wanting to make violent threats on the internet, stupid. Your weapons grade, stupid, bro. Your military issue, dumb. Like your Costco size package, infantile thinking, dumb for that. So we see these examples, and then we see people come out and destroy their own communities, waving foreign flags, burning the American flag. 1000% we have hostiles here. Some of them are American citizens who've been indoctrinated and become extremists. And I think that there are people from other countries who've gotten across who are pushing some of these narratives, pushing some of these buttons, being agitators, like they were talking about, like Sarah was talking about, that they see the same people at every one of these protests that turns riots, and they're the agitators. I would say that those are people from sleeper cells more than likely. I think that would be a good guess. I'm not saying confirmed, but I'm saying that would make sense to me. Kyle Kuntz said, habitual line crosser once said there's two types of countries, those that use the metric system and those that use stealth bombers. I love that guy, bro. I love habitual line crosser. He's dope as hell, man. Thank you so much, Kyle, for bringing in that quote. That was lit. So yeah, it really depends on who you want to believe. And I think it's fair to not trust any of them. I think it's fair to distrust any of them and to call into question any of them. I don't think that anybody who gave me shade on that last shit, I completely understand that short that I put in there, but trust and believe that I am full-blooded fucking American, heart and soul, and that I am not a shill or an agent of a foreign country because I had an opinion that I think we could get something done to make sure that there's not nuclear weapons in a very hostile country that stands around and chants death to America. God is good, death to America. Like literally, they've been doing this for 50 fucking years. I don't think they should have nukes. I think if there's a possibility they have nukes and we don't even have to put a single boot on the ground and we can stop them from having nukes, even if it's just a possibility, I think it's a good bet. I think we might want to run that. Mugen said, Iran has been months away from nukes for 30 years now. Come on, bruh. It's the same playbook every time. No more wars. And I'm not advocating for war. I'm not advocating for war. And I do understand that we've been lured into wars with this exact type of mantra before. I'm saying fly the plane over, bomb the bunker, the underground facility that they say. I'm not opposed to it. And it really, like, it's not going to matter what I say anyway. I'm an idiot with a fucking YouTube channel, dude. I'm an idiot with some people who listen to what I say, and half of you probably disagree with me 80% of the time, but there's every once in a while you agree with me and I'm kind of entertaining, so you guys still hang out, and I love that. I fucking love that, and I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the people who are here who don't agree with me all the time that still hang out. I don't have to agree with you either to love and respect you. And I'm not concrete in my beliefs. New information will change my beliefs. Educating me on things that I didn't know about will change my beliefs, because I'm humble enough to admit that I am super fallible and I can definitely be wrong. But, you know, upon glance, I don't think that Iran having nukes is a risk that we should be not really concerned with. Even if it's something that people have been saying for a long time, I think it's highly likely they've been trying and wanting to develop it for a long time. Amy Beth said, how does one become a sleeper cell? Well, I think that there are people who come into our country that are already a part of terrorist organizations, and they chill and they recruit, and it grows just like gangs. You'll see it in a closed environment like a prison. You'll see one dude will show up from a gang and he'll start recruiting, and the next thing you know, there's 30 of them on a yard of 200 people. It's crazy. Doc Madness. All right, well, it's time for the doc to dip. For Radio Guard, we love you. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a good one, JD, and everyone else in the chat. Doc, I love you so much, bro. You're in our prayers. Big love. Alpha Dragon Gaming is back. What is up? JD, my bro, go check out a series called Jericho. It's about a small town in Kansas trying to survive after dirty bombs went off around the U.S. from sleeper cells, and the government becomes fractured, and the U.S. is split into new government factions. It makes you think. Dude, thank you so much for putting me up on that, because I will tell you this, like, I am such a nerd for anything post-apocalyptic like that. Like, anything post-apocalyptic like that, I am all the way with it. That's why I have a Firefly tattoo from The Last of Us. That's why I have a puking zombie tattoo on my back. I have more zombies tattooed on me. Anything post-apocalyptic, I am a huge nerd for that shit, bro. And thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that support. That's huge. So let's check out what they're saying here.
Let's bring in former FBI Special Agent and Navy SEAL Jonathan Gilliam. Jonathan, good morning to you. I want to talk to you about what has led to this moment in time. When you think about since October 7th, what Israel was capable of doing with the pager attack against Hezbollah, where Hamas stands right now, and where the Houthis that have, with the help of the United States, been very much decimated in their capabilities to strike back. All of that leading to this moment that we sit in right now.
Let me just say real quick, regardless of what side you're on, that pager attack was fucking gangster, bro. They infiltrated them with pagers with explosives on them, and when they sent out a signal, it just blew them up. That is fucking gangster. Like, their intel and their ability to make that happen is scary as fuck, bro. That's crazy work right there. That is crazy. Regardless of what side you're on, you have to acknowledge when somebody gets a good one, bro. That's like when you're rooting for one dude in the UFC and the other dude gives him just a jar and you see him fucking wah, and you're like, that was kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? That was a good hit that they got. Jeremy Perimeter. I'm sorry. I remember from last time, brother. It's always best to question everything. I got a lot I wanted to type, but I can't afford a 500 super chat. That's actually the amount it would have been with my original comment. That's crazy, bro. I love you. And yes, we should question everything, which is why when people tell me to trust the science, that's the least science shit you can ever say to somebody who actually fucks with science. You don't trust the science. You're constantly open to new information because the science is constantly changing and evolving as we learn new things in the world and we find new discoveries. But yeah, never trust anything, especially if it comes from a government. Victor, last super, I promise. I love you, homie. Thank you. There are countries using the metric system, and then there's countries with the flag on the moon, the fat electrician. I am fucking loving these quotes from my homies, bro. Jerry Perimeter, hey, you remembered. Absolutely did, my brother. Sometimes it takes me a second. I get a little tongue-tied because I talk too fast. When I'm reading and trying to talk fast at the same time, it's fucked up. Question everything. Oprah's stink hole is a sleeper cell. I agree. I absolutely agree with you on that.
Right. And, you know, it's interesting when we look at this, Israel has actually evolved back to the out-of-the-box thinking and the tactics of eliminating your enemy like it was in before World War II and during World War II. After that, the world moved to a different way of fighting. And we've seen a tremendous amount of advances in techniques and evolution of warfare in Ukraine and Russia. And the way that the Iranian intel services in China use social media, for instance, to actually form social issues within other nations. And now we see this, where Israel has gone back and systematically taken out the proxies. Now, this is very important because Iran does not fight their own wars outside of their borders. They use proxies. And I don't know if most people realize that. They have targeted Israel over and over using Hamas, Hezbollah. They went after Israel's strategic targets using the Houthis. And
those are the three groups that I would believe they have sleeper cells over here. And I'm very concerned as to what they could execute. So 9/11, even though it was very rudimentary, took a lot of planning. But imagine how much time Iran has been pissed off at us. And if we really want to dig into it, we did some fucked up shit back in the day with Iran. And they have reasons to be pissed at us. I'm not justifying, I'm not saying that the U.S. has always been in the right. But yeah, imagine with how much time they have had under their belt to try to devise something, what they could do with an unlimited amount of people crossing our open border for 4 years and what they could have brought in with them. I think it's terrifying. Brady Wells said, the book I'm writing takes place 100 years after a nuclear war. It's going to be very graphic. I want to read it, bro. Please keep me updated.
So somewhere along the way, Israel figured this out. And I think this is part of at least a three-prong operation. First was the intel gathering about Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran themselves, along with the Houthis. And then they started carrying out attacks to really just cripple Hamas and Hezbollah. We, like, as you just said, helped with the Houthis. But along that way, there was an initial attack inside of Iran. It tested their air defenses. We saw that they were horrible. And it showed that Iran did not have the ability to go the distance all the way over themselves into Israel and actually effectively attack Israel. So with all of that in place and understanding all that and all those different missions working, they were able to then go and start putting these operatives inside Iran and setting up for the big attack. And I think the rest of the world needs to realize that this is the way war fighting has evolved, and Israel is successful because they did it that way. They didn't just do it politically.
So IFV said Iran is a very hard place to mount a ground operation. It's a natural fortress. I am not an advocate for putting American boots in Iran. I am not an advocate for putting a single American life in danger on the ground for anybody else's fucking wars, man. I am 1000% opposed to that. I don't think that we should be doing that at all. I think that we need to mind our own business. We need to fix what's going wrong here before we start trying to play world fucking police. I don't think we should ever try to play world police again. But I feel like if somebody is a real and present threat where they're developing weapons that could absolutely be catastrophic and we have to deal with that, we should do it in a way that makes sense. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, they do, they don't, they aren't developing nuclear weapons. If there's a possibility that that's something that they're doing, and they didn't come to the table when they were told to come to the table. Like what happened? Trump gave them 60 days. They didn't come to the table. If they need to go in and bomb the site where they believe that they're making that shit, I support that. I don't support sending our troops in. I don't support us doing a bunch of shit to change their regime. That's their regime. It's their deal to deal with over there. We have enough fucking problems over here. We don't need to be up in everybody else's business. That's what gets us in all this trouble in the first place as a fucking country. That's why we're one of the most hated countries on the face of the planet, is because we mess in everybody else's business. We need to keep our fingers in our hands and our own pockets when it comes to that shit. That's my opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion because I'm the one with the microphone. Mic check.
Jonathan, what do you think Iran is doing right now? Are they calling up their proxies that have been severely degraded over the past year and a half and saying, help us strike back?
Well, so here's where the real issue, I think, of the future for all of us comes into play, is that we constantly call, and I've heard several guests call Iran the terrorists of the region. But the reality is terrorism is a tactic that they use. Their ideology is fundamental Islam, and this has been a case for thousands of years. And Iran has never evolved or progressed to where they work things out diplomatically. You could never trust them. And so with this fundamentalism, this is the fear that I have, is that even inside the United States, the exact attack that Israel just carried out inside the borders of Iran, with the way that our border was down for 4 years, there could be cells here that could be activated by Iran or proxies and groups that are loyal to Iran.
All of the experts are saying the same shit, and that is that we probably have a real fucking problem with sleeper cells. That's the second expert we've brought up that has inside information, that has a lot of experience, that has a lot of connections, that's saying we could have a real problem with sleeper cells here. Brady Wells said, I'm going to call my book Tales of the Outlands, The Man with No Voice. I love that, bro. I'm watching, I'm waiting. Jeremy Perimeter, thank you again, my dude. Huge love to you. I have a close friend in Tehran who disappeared 1.5 years ago and was against the IRGC. If she's still alive, I just hope she's okay. I 100% agree with the World Police statement, though. The creators of South Park even poked fun at it. Yeah, so Team America was a great movie. And honestly, bro, Matt and Trey, I feel like The Simpsons, they tapped into something where they saw which timeline we were going to be jumping into ahead of time. It's crazy. And I love you, and I thank you for that support, my guy. Noah Chestnut said, given the dominance of Israel's strike using our tech, I don't feel we need to intervene. Israel's proven to be capable of making Iran their bitch. So, except when it comes to getting at that underground facility where they believe that they are making nukes, they have not been able to penetrate that. And that's the only premise under which I feel like there might be room for us to be getting involved. What I would really honestly like to see really is for us to sell Israel. See, but then we have to give them the tech for the airplanes as well, because we'd have to sell them the plane. It's all sketchy. It's all sketchy. There's pluses and minuses on both sides. I would like to see us not get involved, but I also don't want to see Iran get a nuke. Jeremy said, and yes, there's definitely sleeper cells here. 1,000%, bro. 1,000.
Same thing in Israel. That's basically what happened on October 7th when the Hamas went in and attacked Israel. They weren't prepared for that. And so we need to be prepared. Israel needs to be prepared for those types of attacks. And the number one way to do that is for the citizenry to be aware. And that's what's going to prevent the majority of this. But Israel is definitely on top of their game. And right now, Iran should be in panic mode because they don't even have the ability right now at this point to run operations with their proxies because they're fighting for their life.
Okay, so Chaos Reign said agitators like Hassan. Absolutely, agitators like Hassan. Agitators like Hassan. And that's why I don't think people really get why everybody is so against Hassan Piker. That is exactly why we are against Hassan Piker, because he is the type of dude who indoctrinates people towards going into sleeper cells, and he's weaponizing extremists against the American people. And he does it brazenly. And he lives in this country where we have freedom of speech. So he masks what he's doing under freedom of speech. But he is an absolute enemy to this country. And he's getting to these people who feel disenfranchised or confused, or they're on like a lot of hormones that don't balance with their body, or they have mental health issues. And Hamas Diddy Piker starts turning these people into extremists. And that's a real problem. That is a real problem. So I think that you absolutely nailed it with that.
Yeah, the fear of sleeper cells in the United States is very concerning. It's something that the president is very aware of and trying to mitigate as we speak. Jonathan, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Carly.
So I thought that's right there is 2 out of 2 experts warning us. And I think that it's important that we listen to these things and at least hear them out. You know what I'm saying? Did somebody ask if I'm Jewish? No, dude, I'm super fucking Irish, bro. Super Irish. But I think that when you have these people that are really well informed, I'm not saying trust everything they say. I really like Sarah. I think that Sarah has some really strong credentials, and I think that she has good intentions, and I think that she has information that's pretty important. I'm not saying agree with everything that she says. I don't agree with everything that anybody says, and I don't expect you guys to agree with everything that I say. I am very wrong sometimes, and that's okay. Jeremy said, remember the guy at the border who said, you will know who I am? I'm paraphrasing, by the way. I remember that because that shit was absolutely chilling, bro. That shit was absolutely chilling, and I hated every second of it. And there are plenty of people like that who have gotten in our country. And I think it's really incredibly dangerous, and I don't think enough people are taking these things into account. Joe Saunders, what's up to Israel? Little bro, you got this. No Yankees required. Just saying. Rock on, roll on, and stay safe, JD. Love you, bro. I don't want to fight anybody else's wars, bro. It's not Trump's kids that are going to go over there and fucking die, man. It's not Nancy Pelosi's kids that are going to go over there and fucking die. It's our kids. And I don't want to see that shit happen. I'm tired of it. Alpha Dragon Gaming said, I feel kind of like the U.S. is an anti-hero like Deadpool. We often have questionable motives and unconventional methods, and we tend to operate in a moral gray area to achieve what the government feels is best. But damn, I love the U.S. of A. Thank you for giving me that. Thank you. That was a gift, brother. To be able to relate the U.S. to Deadpool and that anti-hero metaphor was a gift, because I love that, because I'm a huge fucking Deadpool fan. Thank you. That was poignant. Reasonable Assumption. Love you, fam. The Trash Can Man ending scene in Stephen King's The Stand is my biggest worry. 4 years of open borders makes this a lot more possible. Iran was suspected of having 465 kilograms of weapons grade material. Remember this? I do, brother. And I feel you 100%. And that's what I'm saying, man. Everybody's saying, oh, no, listen, Iran, they're just misunderstood. I could change. I know I've been a sandy little bastard type shit. I don't believe them, bro, type shit. Nah, not at all. Backwoods Templar said, remember the USS Liberty? I certainly do, bro.
Under questioning by FBI agents, New Yorker Ali Karani admitted in 2017 to being a member of something called Unit 910. It's the Black Ops unit of Hezbollah, controlled by Iran. Karani told agents he was trained to be a suicide bomber and was scouting targets in New York City. He's now in prison. Another Unit 910 member imprisoned this year, New Jersey resident Alexei alias Alex Saab, had also scouted potential targets around New York City. While the exact number of Hamas and Hezbollah sleeper cells operating within the United States is not known, a comprehensive study by George Washington University last year found the most Hezbollah activity in Michigan, New York, North Carolina, and California. If Americans are wondering if they're safe from the kind of attack Hamas carried out against Israel, terrorism experts say the answer is not encouraging. Former FBI Special Agent Eric Karen.
We have over 1,000 joint terrorism task force cases going on here in America today relating to Muslim extremists.
So far this year, authorities have caught 151 people on the FBI's terrorism watch list, trying to illegally enter the U.S. through the southern border. That's 50 times.
So, King Roots, you remember they started those chants after we did something very, very bad. You should look into it. Most of y'all don't know, just Iran, bad Iran. Don't give a fuck, bro. I'm for the American people. I know our government's done bad shit. I feel bad about it. Nobody consulted me about it before we did it, homie. I'm worried about my motherfucking people. I'm worried about the American citizens. I'm worried about our kids. So, yeah, no, the people chanting death to America, I'm not going to sympathize with them motherfuckers, bro. I feel bad for the people in Iran who are literally being oppressed by this regime. But when it comes to the people who want to fucking take America out, I don't give a fuck, bro. I'm all out of fucks. Sorry, gave my last few out yesterday. I'm not going to side with Iran because we did some bad shit. That wasn't my decision. I didn't do that. If they want revenge, I'm praying on their downfall. Period. Like, I think it's pretty simple. Noah Chestnut. Well, it has been years since Canada added anything to the Geneva suggestions list. If you know, you know. No war, fuck Iran. Y'all, Canada made that list, bro. The suggestions list was great. Would sleeper cells buy cartel mercs for civil war? Yeah, I'm not sure, bro. I'm not sure. I'm not positive. You can tell there's a lot of people in the chat that are with it. And there's a lot of people in the chat who are kind of like, you know, Diddy Hassan Piker followers. Maybe they went to the Diddy parties with Hassan. Maybe they got their buttholes tickled a little bit until they said, yeah, I hate America, I hate America. I'm with America, dog. I'm all red, white, and blue up in this bitch, bro. You're never going to get me to change up on that. Melissa Foster, America first? Nah, I'm America only. I like that shit, Melissa. Love you, sis. Hell yeah. Captain Caveman said, I got a house full of pew-pews ready to defend what's mine. I'd love to get my Second Amendment rights back. I really would.
Times higher than 2 years ago. Most are coming through Panama's Darien Gap, where journalist Michael Yan says he's seeing 3,000 to 5,000 migrants pass through every day on their way to the U.S.
I see a lot of Chinese coming through. Most of the people you see coming through are military-age males of any sort, right? I see Afghans coming in by the thousands. I've had people come through that say they're from Gaza.
CBN News correspondent Chuck Holton has also reported from the Darien Gap and says he has no doubt dangerous persons are headed for the U.S. border.
So this is like, what, 4 different people that are specialists on the subject saying that, yes, we have them here. And to the person who paid for a super to ask me if I'm a chomo, fuck your life. Fuck the cunt you crawled out of. No, I'm not a chomo. I fucked your dad, but he loved it and he was of age and he begged for more afterwards. Go fuck yourself sideways, crawl in a hole, eat dirty dog shit, and die twice. Piece of shit. Sorry, I get to be petty twice a day. God told me I get to be petty twice a day. And that was one of them. And I had fun.
I interviewed a guy from Afghanistan. We found many people from Somalia and Yemen. We found people from Syria, Iran. We have seen people coming through.
Former Agent Karen is especially concerned about America's ports. where Customs and Border Protection is supposed to scan every incoming container for radiation, but physically inspects only 3%.
We have 328.
3%. Did you fucking hear that? We only physically inspect 3%. That is insane, bro. And you know how easy it is to pay people off at the ports to make sure that you are not in the ones that get inspected? That's insane. Take it from me, you can pay off almost anybody for almost anything, dude. There are huge gaps in our security here. Jeremy said all nonviolent ex-convicts should regain all constitutional rights, especially if you display you've been rehabilitated, you did your time. And, you know, I talk with my buddy Brandon Herrera about that all the time, who is a firm believer in that. We're working on it. There's a lot in the works to try to get the Second Amendment rights back that were stripped unconstitutionally away from people. Vicky Hartzell said, hey, JD and Jax, I agree with y'all. Also, keep me in y'all prayers. I'm taking my daughter halfway to Florida so that she can stay with her dad this summer. Vicky, we love you, sister. We will be praying for you and your daughter that everything goes smoothly. Drive safe. We love you. Zonk said, dude, I know that we have Sinaloa and different Mexican cartels here in Southern Oregon and Northern California. Facts. And we have for a really long time, long before our borders were open. I had connections with cartel people that I would get my crystal methyses from. So I know that for a fact. They are not pro-America. What was your experience? Do Mexicans and Chinese get along? So like, I don't know much about Mexicans and Chinese. I do know that, like, if you're in prison, the Southsiders and the white boys ride out together. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the cartel people would ride out with the Southsiders. But, you know, I've been out of the game for a while. I will fully admit that I've been out of the game for a while. It's been 6 years since I've gotten fucked up on anything, sold anything, been any part of the criminal lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Ariel Short, Shungui Group owns the local meat processing plant 30 minutes from a major refinery here. We are concerned. And I think that's fair. I don't think that other countries should own large sections of our country. And China owns a lot of land in the US. I definitely don't think that adversarial countries should have any business owning large portions of our land. And I want to say that the things that I'm really concerned about as far as sleeper cells in the next attack is like our grid. I think it highly likely they would attack our grid, our power grid. You know, if they attack our power grid, our internet, our water systems, things like that, poisoning water systems. Imagine how many people would die if they slipped some sort of a extreme toxin into our water systems in a major area. I'm glad that I don't live in a major metropolitan area and that my water is off a well, and that if our power goes down, I have generators, I have everything I need to survive out here. I have chickens, I have fucking land to with where we're growing our own food and shit, bro. Like, I love the position that I'm in, but I fear for people who live in majorly populated areas with this type of thing. Melissa Foster said, one love, brother. Also, my family will come and defend you and your family. I appreciate you, and I love you. And I'm the only one in my family who doesn't have Second Amendment rights. Everybody else is armed to the fucking grit. Even my mom has a concealed carry. So, Brady Wells, be honest, do you like waffles? So, Brady, it's funny that you mentioned that, because every morning Jax makes me breakfast, and lately I've been doing the protein toaster waffles. They're fucking incredible. And she puts blueberries on them and sugar-free syrup and cut up strawberries, and I'll have eggs and steak. And that's what I've been doing for breakfast. I absolutely love waffles. Adamster, Before the election, all of those UFO sightings in New Jersey makes me wonder if they were looking for sleeper cell radiation type bombs. That was one of the things, that was one of the theories that I found to be the most realistic, to be honest. Out of all of them, I feel like that was one of the most realistic theories that we had running. Ryan Smith said, Florida, my kid is going to go to Mexico coming soon. I'm kind of worried as a father, but son is trained properly so he can handle himself no problem. All we can do, homie, is raise them right, make sure they know how to spot it coming and how to defend themselves and how to walk appropriately at all times. And then it's up to them, man. It sucks to have to let go and you know, see them go into places where we can't protect them anymore, but it is what it is, man. You're a good dad. Doom Levitria, I'm a veteran with a laundry list of issues. I will set them all aside to defend my home and expand the Geneva suggestions. Viva the wood chipper! Thank you for your service and your sacrifice. I love you, and I will fight by your side any day, brother. Backwoods Templar said, remember, ICE is the biggest fighter of human trafficking in the U.S., and no foreign nation should own land in America, ally or not. That's just straight up facts right there. Alpha Dragon Gaming, thank you again, homie. I want you to know how much I appreciate you. I love you, homie. I live in a small farming, ranching town of 500 in Oklahoma. 500 is tiny. We are full of Mennonite who take care of the community. So if the shit hits the fan, I know we will be good. Plus, I got a small arsenal solar. Well, with a hand pump, I'm good to go. I recently invested in the hand pump because our well was on power. And I recently got us the hand pump thing going on. I'm ready if anything happens, bro. You know, you can never be too prepared, but I'm pretty prepared if anything happens. That's just kind of my thing. I'm not like an extremist, but, you know, we've got preparations to last for a few years out here. You know what I'm saying? So, look, you guys, I love you. I appreciate you. I've been on here for a lot longer than I meant to. It's time for me to go eat a steak. I've only had one piece of steak today, so it's time for me to go eat a piece of steak. Zonk said, read 1 second after all about the EMPs over the U.S. EMPs are terrifying, and it would be disastrous for us, man. I love you guys. Thank you for riding out with us. Please keep it frosty. You don't have to agree with me. You can think that I'm totally nuts. Just keep your eyes open and be ready in case anything happens to protect you and your family. We're all in this together. I love you guys. And until the next one, be good or be good at it, baby. I'm out.